See, this video is perfect. I had an idea that I can't remember, but I pressed record to make an idea because I got something from what would I do? Why the fuck did I get? Okay. Yep, I literally lost it. I lost the reason I came up with this video. That's crazy. Well, I can remember the thought I was thinking before, which is why I really feel like I have to do it now, else it's gonna go away. A sense of urgency will make you move more than anything else, bro. Make your ass look urgent, I guess. Um, yeah. Anyway, I was thinking about how disabilities and how people are whole other worlds. Like when you go into like the autism community, it's like a whole other words and a whole different way to use language. Like language abled, autism level 1 versus higher. Like the language changes so much, and usually it's to communicate something more specific than what you already knew. And I think our ability to adapt to people's new use of language will cause you so much, will save you so much headache. Like I remember I always used to find people who would always make me change the way I speak. Like they'd be like, don't call me bitch, and I'm like, I bitch, I call everybody bitch. um I'm trying to be adaptive in how I move between different people who have different values. So like some people's view on words is that, you know, I'm is that when someone says a word I don't like, I should ask them to change the way of using words, whether it's slurs or bitch or whatever. Um, Versus I'm more just like, okay, if I don't like something, and I don't like a lot of things, it's usually an internal thing. So I usually internalize it, and I'm just like, okay, this is my thing, and then I'll move on with my day. Um, but it also depends. Like sometimes it's not about the word; it's about I'm not sure who you are when you're saying that word. Like if you say the F word, I'm like, who are you? Like when I hear gay people say the F word, I'm like, okay, even though it still kind of bothers me, but I know that's a me thing. And like past things, it's syllables mashed together. It doesn't mean anything on its own. And if the person saying it is not a harmful object, then it's fine. But yeah, I also think like there's this theory that someone said that the way we serve the lowest protected members of our community is the way we're going to serve ourselves in the highest, and the how, and it's a reflection of the world for the middle people, because we think that when we're ignoring blind people, ignoring deaf people, ignoring disabled people, that we're all that we that it's there's too little of them to pay attention to. And I get the logic behind it makes sense. I don't think it's even like a I don't even think it's like a malice thing. It's just like imagine every little problem in your life um you started to focus on. It will start to like muddy things because you set up your life in a way that works out for what you're doing the majority of the time. But there's gonna be times in your life where there's gonna be uh, a hiccup, um, and that's what people I think see disabled people as, like hiccups in the status quo. And when the status and when we orientating the status quo for the status quo, it's just gonna naturally be that their needs fall by the wayside. But I think there's a theory that if you that, but I think if you build up your life more in this way of you're only as strong as your weakest defense or your weakest member. If you build up a life, you're only as strong as your weakest member. The quality of your group will rise way up than you anticipated. Just because your weakest member is one and you have like multiple strong members, you still have that member in your community. Um, and they might not even necessarily be weak because all the time, because I'm also trying to figure out which parts of disabled people are actually disabled or just differently abled is tough. And all of this is going to stem from your values, right? So if we value walking and we build up a society where walking to places is the best way to do things, someone without legs is going to be more disabled in a society where we have a bunch of mechanisms and tools and vehicles for people who can't walk. You know, the amount of disability you have is going to be dictated by the amount of accessibility that's afforded to you, which is an interesting way to look at it. I kind of ate with that, Loki. Um, I'm sure it's not that different, but I like thinking about it. Like I like, you know, why I like maths is because it abstracts everything and kind of removes all the power from things when you just think of, when you put things in just a group, right? So instead of calling disabled, think about disabled. If I say the word disabled, which speak about this video, I guess it's about language. If I say the word disabled, you're gonna think about um, a bunch of people who are deaf and blind and paraplegic and have no legs Autism, maybe autism level 3 or autism level 4. I don't know how high the levels go, but anyway, or low the levels go. Anyway, but if you think about disability as people who have less accessibility, so then you start to think, so it can even be geniuses, right, who have less accessibility to the way people think because they think at such a high level, who are just different. If you break it down, right, so it's not that they lost out on a thing when you're blind. Is that you don't have access to things that the majority of people have access to. So if everybody was blind, you'd feel a lot less disabled. But because there's like an assumption that humans should be able to see, because the majority of humans see, um, or because we have the mechanisms for eyes, but we have the mechanisms for a bunch of things for pancreases, but it doesn't do anything. So it's like so it's like when you decide to almost view disabled people as like perfect but different, and the world has just just like almost like a, this is gonna sound dehumanizing, but it's not, because I know I'm a vegan, so me and animals were one and the same. But almost like as like a separate species that's functioning just like perfectly, but they're just feeling the brunt of living in a humans with functioning eyes, taking blind people world. So nothing is afforded to them. Do you know? I think we're really, I don't know. I've really enjoyed recently becoming very. It's because I've become a lot more disabled myself between Tourette syndrome, ADHD, possibly, well, diagnosed ADHD and Tourette syndrome. Um, Probably autism too. Let's be real. And my ADHD person said you might be, when I told them some of the symptoms I was experiencing when I started using my ADHD meds. And also just in life in general. But and on top of that, and also my hip pain and all this joint pain I'm feeling from God knows what. Maybe it's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I don't fucking know, but I have a lot of joint issues, easily breakable joints, and it's really killing my life. So it's been a mix of that, but I've always kind of been interested in it. I think we all naturally are. I think we all naturally have this thing to want to help blind people or help deaf people. A lot of people want to learn sign language. I think there's a natural thing to like empathize with people who are. My one's been trans people because I'm connected to gayness, and also when gayness can be a disability too, like how the world gives you gayness as a disability because there's no access to it, and when gayness really did feel like a disability, but when you give it enough access, it feels like a motherfucking superpower. You give enough access to gay clubs and gay men, it feels like, oh wow, straight people are actually, and that point, finding that point where where there's like where even though there's less accessibility, the pure quality of the thing makes it so much so that the normals, for lack of a better word, are the disabled ones. Like, for example, even though there's less people, there's a certain level of smartness that you hit, like, oh, this is something to be regarded. But you go too smart and you become, no one can talk to you and everyone thinks that you're weird and it's not even worth it anymore to be that smart. But there's like it's like in everything, there's like a teetering. But yeah, that's my philosophy on disability video. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye.